Hey friends, are you unsure of what to say on social media or what to even send in your weekly emails? Well, what if creating content could be easy? Would you be looking for a shortcut to creating consistent content? Yes, consistent content, because you know consistency is key. Well, let me tell you, you are not alone when you feel like you're struggling on what to post or what to write in emails. And we know that you have that product part of your business down. But as you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know that to get more people to your products, to buy your products, you need to create great content. Oh, I know. I keep saying content, and that's the dreaded C word. And we can't tell you how many product bosses tell us that they want to create great content for their audience and their customers, but they don't know what to say, or they are so busy they can't find the time, or they really, really, really don't want to be the face of their brand. Well, no worries, because that's exactly why we created a year of content. It is your shortcut to creating consistent content that resonates with your audience and brings more loyal customers who can't wait to buy your products. If you want to see how easy this is and how easy it is to create content for your audience and your customers, head to www.ayearofcontent.com. Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we're dedicated to helping product-based business owners turn into revenue-generating, successful, happy product bosses. I'm Jacqueline Snyder.
And I'm Mina Kunlo-Sita. Together through digital courses, coaching, and masterminds, we've helped over 50,000 students from startup to multi-million-dollar businesses scale their sales while blending in their dream life.
It gets lonely out there in the product business world. We fully believe a business shouldn't be built alone. There's room at the top for all of us.
So let's get scrappy and creative together, Product Boss, to be profitable, make more sales, and grow your visibility.
Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. We are so excited because we are at Café Lola in Las Vegas, and we are actually doing a live interview with the founders of Café Lola and just other businesses that they'll tell you all about. So we've got Lin Jerome and Alexandra Lourdes, and welcome to the Product Boss Podcast.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
We're so excited.
Thank you for coming out.
It's our very first podcast.
Yeah.
And we set up the whole camera crew for you.
We're so excited because we've admired you for so long, both of you on Instagram, and just your partnership too. I think that it kind of adds a little bit of dynamic to even, your story. So let's start off with that. Tell us a little bit of like how you first met each other and how, and a little bit about yourselves and what you, I guess, sell and own.
Yeah, what you do. Let's talk about it. So, because you have so many businesses, and I was like, I've got one of them because I don't have a notepad. So let's go in.
Right. So we met 7 years ago. Her husband actually introduced the two of us. We were in a philanthropy group together, and I just got a new job at UNLV, and Alex was working at UNLV, and he said, you two just have a lot of similarities. You should just meet up, have coffee, see how it goes. Funny, we met and had coffee, and now here we are in our coffee shop. But we just hit it off. We both had side hustles at the time. I had a side hustle, which was an event planning and philanthropy company, and she had side hustle, which was a social media company. So we just teamed together and started throwing events here in the community, and they went off really, really well. And then we had an opportunity to start doing marketing for a restaurant group out here, and we were like, okay, we don't really do marketing. We have full-time jobs. Like, I have my law degree. She has her PhD. This is not.
But we were doing marketing.
Right. We didn't realize that's what we were doing.
We never had a degree in marketing, so we didn't really know what we were doing. Yeah. But she actually has her law degree. I have my PhD. So we were actually working in these careers, and we actually ended up leaving, and we started this marketing company overnight. So after
Literally
we started helping, in the restaurant we were doing the marketing for. We were eating dinner, and she was doing the LLC. I was creating the website, and we the next day we're like, oh, we have the Refined agency.
We did.
So I love
and
it.
Full-time jobs at universities. So we were like, okay, how do we navigate this? How do we do this?
And then we used our side hustles. So we just basically merged them. So I had a social media company where I would post kind of the most popular restaurants in town, and she had her event company. So at restaurants, I would post about that restaurant while she would throw an event there, So that was our marketing company. It wasn't traditional. It was the more non-traditional form of marketing, but it was working, and everyone liked that. And then now everyone does that. But we kind of were doing something new that we didn't really know what we were doing at that time. But then now we obviously know what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we just started to get busier and busier and taking on more clients from client referrals. And it got to the point, literally, it was December 2015, where we're like, okay, we cannot continue to juggle both anymore. It's either one or the other. So, and we just decided, hey, we're going to move forward with the Refine agency. We put in our 30-day notice at the university, and January 1, 2016, we were on our own. A little scary, but we were like, you know what? Can we always get another job? Yes. We can get another job. If this doesn't work, we can go out.
Luckily, we have degrees, you know,
Yes.
so
Right.
we always
That
are very
did help,
big advocates
yes.
of education.
What was your default job? Because a lot of us come up with that. Like, if this doesn't work out, I'll just go do X. Did you have one of those?
I mean, that
Or
was
just
like
going back in?
her lawyer, me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. She has her fine
I
arts
guess
degree.
I'm going to try cases.
I have my MBA, but I'm always like, worst case scenario, just be a barista or a waitress.
Yeah,
You know?
it's so funny. It's funny because our default jobs are like, I'll be a professor.
Your
I guess.
actual degrees.
Yeah, our actual degrees. Yeah,
Yeah.
But, yeah. It was funny, but we were making more than our salaries, you know.
Right.
So that was our decision maker. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, let's just wing it, you know. It
Right.
was we saw there was proof, like, okay, this business is thriving. And we were making well over what our salaries were. So that was like, we have to just trust this, you know, because we can always, like she said, fall back to those salaries, you know?
I mean, this is a lawyer and a PhD, so obviously it was doing really well. So I think that's another question that a lot of people tend to have is they have a full-time job and they want to take their side hustle, which is usually their creative business, their product-based business. Maybe it's
Passion project.
Yeah, their passion project. And they want to move, but they don't know how or when to move. Is there any advice you have on that? Because you're still juggling a lot. So you've obviously like full plates, but any advice that you have for people about
when to jump?
When to jump?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's at the point. So we were comfortable at first because we knew we were trying this new business out and we had our full-time job. So we had that income coming in. I think when it got to the point of us not being able to dedicate as much time to it or really seeing the revenue that we were bringing in from it with such low overhead. I mean, as long as we had our laptop, our phones, we were working out of coffee shops, that's all we really needed. And so at that point, we're like, okay.
And the
we feel
demand was so
comfortable.
high.
Right.
Like we could take more clients, but we just didn't have enough time because of our jobs.
Exactly.
So for us, it was a no-brainer because we saw the money coming in and we saw the opportunity there. We saw that if we just dedicated more time to it, it would bring even more money in.
Exactly.
So for us, it was like a financial decision, you know.
Yeah.
It was, and it was even though it was a passion, you know, we made it kind of based on a financial decision.
Yeah.
Like, this was the best move for us at the time.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people, they're scared because they don't know, they're uncertain, right? They have that fear. But for all of you, you know, the both of you, you thought, okay, worst case scenario, I'll just go back to my job, you know? So like when you can kind of picture that worst case scenario and be like, okay, that's the worst case scenario, I'm going to take the leap of faith.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, like, so we always talk about this actually, and then a lot of people do have imposter syndrome. We definitely went through that because we're like, we don't have marketing degrees. You know, we don't really know about marketing. Like, what if they ask us about this? You know, and so we did go through that a little bit. And then we just realized like how powerful our tools were. So like her event planning skills, like my marketing skills, my social media skills, like we're like, you know, people should pay for this. Like we're like, look at the impact we have. Look at the amount of people that come to these events. Look at the amount of people who see these restaurants. Like, you know, for us, the value was there. So you don't need a degree necessarily, you know, in something if you're good at what you're doing, you know? So we kind of actually that was one of those moments where we kind of had to like talk each other, you know, into like, hey, we can do this, you know? And finally started to believe in ourselves. And the more you do it, the more you believe in yourself, right? So like the more, you know, the more clients we got, the more success we got them, the more followers that we grew them. You know, the success we saw in their restaurants, we're like, okay, like now we know we're good at this, you know, and so we can charge a little bit more because that was another thing for us. We just didn't know what to charge. We didn't know.
And being women in that industry, especially here in Las Vegas, a lot of what we were doing was throwing events at casinos and nightclubs. And that was a male-dominated
the promoters
field. Oh, yes, majority male. So to have these two girls coming in and doing these events and have them be super successful was unheard of. So again, that, you know, we were a little bit hesitant at that point too. Even when we were charging these places, we're like, we know that you're paying them 7 times more than you're paying us, but you know, we just wanted to get our foot in the door and we did really, really well. All of our events were super successful. The marketing company was very successful and we just, you know, we ran with it.
Amazing. And both of you are married.
Yes.
And your husband introduced you two together. So did you have their buy-in initially when you sort of left your full-time jobs and started this company? No. Okay. No, I mean,
maybe you did.
I did.
Mine is finance. You know, he's a finance guy, so he's very logical, you know, and I'm like the complete opposite. Yeah. He calls me a dreamer, you know, he's like, I have a dreamer wife and I just like figure out how to make her dreams happen, you know? So, which it kind of is so funny because that's how it's always been with us. So he told me, he's like, you're leaving all this like security, or, you know, he's all about security, insurance, like, you know, all those things that are all just so logical important. Things.
Yeah. Responsibility.
You know? Responsibility. Yeah. And he's like, your savings, you know, I don't even know those things that we have.
Yeah, IRAs, everything. I mean, the benefit packages there were, you know, unreal. You're at a university.
Yeah.
But yeah, even Steve, he knew that I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. And he wanted me to be happy. And he knew that at the end of the day, I was going to do what I wanted to do anyway. So I think he was just like, yes, Lin, if this is what you want, go ahead.
And you took the lead.
Figure it out.
Yes. And he got behind it.
Yeah, he got behind it.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, do whatever. You know?
All right.
Too late. Already did it.
Yeah, that's basically how it happened.
This, yeah.
So then let's talk about this. So you had the events company, and then when did you jump into becoming restaurateurs?
So we just saw how impactful our services were for social media and events for all of our clients, which a majority of them were in food and beverage and hospitality. And when we started the Refine Agency, we were working out of coffee shops in town. So we were going to all these places, and we used to always say, man, we want a coffee shop of our own, because they were just brown and they were drab and they weren't inspiring and they didn't have the food items that we like. They didn't have matcha, they didn't have alternative milks, they didn't have gluten-free items, they didn't have vegan items. And so we always said, man, if we did this, we would have a coffee shop that looked like this. It would be pink, be very feminine. We'd have gluten-free and vegan. So that's kind of how Café Lola started. And it's funny, the reason we felt comfortable with starting the first location is we always do this with our businesses. We try to find try to make a dual business out of one. So when we found our initial Café Lola space, at the time we needed office space for our marketing company. We were paying an exorbitant amount of rent at our current office space, and we found this space, which is our first Café Lola. And we said, wouldn't it be great if we were able to build a second level mezzanine upstairs, move the Refine Agency into that space, but then make additional revenue downstairs in order to help pay the bills. Plus, we're a social media company. We need a space to take photos, to take videos for our clients. And so we created that backdrop with Café Lola. And so we knew if for some reason this didn't work, we know we can pay the rent and pay the bills with the marketing company. And that's really kind of how
that
it
was our
started
goal.
too.
We're like, okay, if we can pay the rent, you know, for our marketing company, we're winning.
Yeah, we need an office anyway. Why not? And then we get to have, you know, free coffee and go downstairs and everybody
Great
can
coffee
eat.
machine, better than an espresso.
Exactly.
Right. And I think that, you know, the two of you, what you did really well was that you were already doing restaurants and food, and that is a really big thing in Vegas, right? You added an entertainment level to it, like the experience. Yeah, the experience, even the entertainment, like seeing you, Alex, on Instagram and you doing reels, and you know, there is an entertainment level and, you know, to what you show, like opening up your donuts. And actually, you know, before we go into that, why don't you talk about like the other businesses that you both have as well?
Yeah, so we started Café Lola as a way to pay the rent for the marketing company. You know, we have genius ideas.
Yeah.
And then what happened next?
Yeah, so we opened Café Lola. The second we opened, Lin and I both posted on social media, and we had a line out the door day one. It was crazy. People were so excited, but we had started social for the Café Lola like 8 months prior. Like we took them along the journey. We took everyone along the construction journey. We were always updating them, and for us, it was really cool that everyone just kind of felt like family. And so when they came, and everyone was so excited because they felt like it was theirs. And that's always what we like to do, is make sure people feel so connected to us, because I think that is so important, so people can understand like who's behind it. It's not just like some, you know, random person. It's actually Lin and I, you know, and we're there, we're doing the construction. We're not physically,
your pink hard hats.
Yeah, literally. So for us, that was really a really important piece. And then when we started seeing how successful Café Lola was growing, and people were like, can you bring this to Henderson? Can you grow more locations? Because we only had that one small location. So for us, we're like, okay, we know we want to grow Café Lola, but in the meantime, we decided to do something else. So
we always do
sounds like an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so
we're always doing something else.
Lin's always like, add it to the list. I'm always like coming up with the crazy ideas. So Lin, I think she was pregnant at the time. She like really wanted donuts, and I'm like a huge foodie, so I know every donut shop in town. So I'm like, there's one down the road. I'm like, let's go get one. We walked down. We took our car down the road, literally a mile away from Café Lola, and the door was locked. There's a lockbox on it, and you look inside, and all the equipment was still there. So Lin, because this is what she does, she literally calls the landlord right there, and she's like, exactly.
I start Googling, find the owner, find the landlord, get his name, get his number.
Literally that afternoon, she's on the phone with them, and she's like, what's going on with the space? You know, is it available? And they're like, yeah, actually, the owner just closed last night. And so all the equipment's in there. It was a donut shop. So I was like, okay, you know, so like, we're going to do something, because we're sourcing all of our pastries. So we were sourcing all of our sugar cookies, our cupcakes, and from other places in town. So I was like, why don't we create a bakery for Café Lola,
you know, like we do.
And I was like, we could hire a baker, you know, and because we were, you know, I'm sure there's a baker that will want to work for us. And we're like, we can hire a baker, you know, they can make all of our pastries for Café Lola. But then in the front, let's do something different. Like, let's make a really cool storefront that no one's ever seen before. And I've been the donut like fiend my whole life. I'm obsessed with donuts. I've traveled to Barcelona for donuts, you know? So for me, like donuts were like always been my thing. I don't know why. I was like scrolling really back on my Instagram for some reason, and I have all these photos of me and donuts. I was like, that's so funny. Like I've always loved donuts. And I would like, when I was painting in college, I would paint pastries, you know? And I'm like, this is the craziest thing, like to think like how far it's come full circle. But so we're like, we're going to do a donut shop, but not just any donut shop. We wanted to do a couture donut shop, something that no one's ever seen before. We wanted to turn them into French pastries and really take on a different, like, you know, elevate the donut to something no one's ever seen before. And so we're like, how do we do that? So we know what we want to do. We didn't know how we were going to do it, but we signed the lease anyway. So she signed the lease anyway.
Oh yeah, we always do.
We signed the lease.
Even with the first Café Lola, we told our husbands we want to do this cafe, and they're like, well, maybe it's not the best idea, because they're both in food and beverage, and they know the ins and outs and you know, the business side of things. And we're like, well, actually, we already signed the lease, so
too late.
Get in or get out. They were like, well, I guess we're opening a cafe. They didn't really have a choice.
And we didn't know how to make coffee, actually. I actually didn't drink coffee. She's a tea drinker.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee. It's crazy.
I would try coffees, but I didn't like the flavor, because a lot of coffee shops like just don't do anything that fun, you know? Yeah. So I was like, you know, I didn't really, the only really good coffee I had was at certain coffee shops. Yeah. So for us, we had the person who sold us the coffee beans, they come in and train you how to make coffee. And then I ended up just learning how to make coffee. I like learned how to steam the milk all during training of us opening. Like I didn't know anything. And then, so I trained alongside all of our employees. And then that's when I really jumped in and learned all the different flavors and started just like, you know, picking up what people like. And, you know, then I tried to create more seasonal items. So
who creates the recipes? Because I'm drinking, what's this one
24
called?
karat.
24 karat.
The drinks, that is Alex.
That's you.
She is all about flavors. I mean, she's a foodie. She is the foodie in the group for sure.
I mean, the drinks are beautiful. Check out the Instagram. You'll see our photos and our video. I mean, they're amazing. I wanted this one because I was like, this is very Instagrammable with gold flakes.
Yeah, that one, I try to create some that are like super light, because I think a lot of times, especially like younger girls who come in, like they don't really like the taste of coffee. They want like their frappuccinos, you know, they want to they want to just say something that just tastes good, right?
Yeah.
So those are like, that's more of like the specialty lattes that we make are more like the lighter, you know, drinks that make with coffee, like more fun. Yeah. This one's really good. This hot pistachio latte. It's like one of my favorites.
It is amazing.
I have to do that one next. We're big coffee drinkers over here.
We really are. But I like this because it's not too sweet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I was staying away from a little bit of the whip. But I mean, they're incredible. I also love that everything you do is elevated. You know, like couture donuts. Also, you know, a pistachio one. It's not, you know, a crappy almond.
I mean, that's how we started. I mean, even that's why we named our company the Refined Agency. We weren't doing anything that was too different from what others were doing. It was refined. So we elevated your experience.
Yeah.
So it was always your marketing refined, your coffee shop refined, your donut shop refined. We want to elevate experiences. People always tell us, you guys don't do anything too, you know, crazy. You open a coffee shop, a donut shop, pizza shop. But yes, we do everything.
And they're crowded markets, you know, that's not like
100%.
There's a coffee shop down the road. There's like probably 6 on this road actually, you know,
but when you say refined, it's also very clearly knowing the customer you want to attract.
Exactly.
So for us, we started these businesses. We wanted spaces to go ourselves. We wanted to sit in a coffee shop that was beautiful and pink and had amazing lighting, beautiful chandeliers, these installations. We wanted to have donuts that were gorgeous, that you could present as a hostess gift, that just really stood out. We wanted to have pizza that was delicious. So it's really just us doing the things that we love and knowing that others love those things too. A lot of times, businesses don't really cater to women. We are women. We are moms. We want to be able to have a space where we can go and have a latte, have a glass of rosé, but then on a Saturday have a princess tea so our daughters can come and see characters and have a tea party with their friends. So we just do things that we like to do and we know that others like to do too.
A lot of times actually people would tell us, they're like, are you sure you want to go so feminine with your cafe? Because you're going to, exclude a whole market of people, right? They think that men aren't going to come here.
Oh, there's a lot of men in here.
Oh, a ton.
There is. A ton. And they're like, they think that we're, by focusing on a certain demographic of people, it's going to, exclude opportunity, but for us, it was the complete opposite.
Well, I think when you speak, so we always say, if you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one. So you speak so clearly to somebody, but then everybody else wants that buy-in.
Exactly.
It's an experience. So let's jump back to this bakery that we started. No, because what I love here is there's so many people who will stop themselves because things have to be perfect. Or they have to research and research and research, right? You can't.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest pieces of advice.
Very early.
Anytime anyone asks me for a piece of advice, it's that. Like, nothing is ever going to be perfect. You just have to start it, because I feel like a lot of times that is 100% the case. Like people, and I have friends that will reach out to me and they'll be like, I need help. Like, I don't have a degree in nutrition, but I want to start this, cute, like kids nutrition company. And I was like, just do it.
Just do it.
Like,
or
no
they're like,
one
we don't have a business
degree.
plan. We don't, no, you don't, just do it. I'll be very honest with you. I probably shouldn't say this, but we haven't had the actual business plan.
We never made it.
Like, nobody has a business plan. You have to just start. But I think that the special thing that you guys do too is what you said earlier, Alex, that you stayed connected with your customer, right? You've engaged with them. So you get that feedback. I think what happens when people are scared is that they're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting this feedback and these people are saying this is too feminine or this is, but if you're catering to everybody, you're never going to stand out.
Yeah.
So, but taking that feedback and understanding, okay, this is my customer and it's not a race to the bottom. It's how am I going to stand out and how I'm going to cater to this very specific customer.
Exactly.
And obviously your customer is someone who loves elevated experiences,
Same with the donut shop.
Yeah, right.
So let's go into the donut shop.
Yeah, because not everyone's going to buy a $6 donut.
Yeah, they definitely are not.
Oh my goodness.
But I would buy a $12 donut from here.
Exactly. But people, I could.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not like we randomly create that price. Like that's how much it costs. Like we use real vanilla bean in our dough.
Right.
We use, our baker comes in overnight and makes them from scratch. We don't use a bag mix that other people do. It's like using a cake box mix that you mix water in. Like we don't do that.
So you decided to open this bakery, and then is it a different company?
So we always file different LLCs. That's her thing. So she files all the LLCs, and then
great having a lawyer.
I know. Totally, yeah. So she does all that, and then when we actually hired someone, we actually hired several consultants to help us figure out the donuts. The first couple didn't get it right, and they didn't get our vision. So we just kept looking for other consultants. We had to do this within 60 days, was it? Or 30?
Yeah, it was.
I can't remember if it was
I was like 9 months pregnant, so I don't really remember anything.
The time.
I think it was 2 months. We had to turn this around.
Yes, because I signed the lease in March and we actually opened June 1st. So it was
3
pretty
months
quick.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was, to create an entire concept, that was really quick for us, because we had to create a menu, figure out how to make donuts, and, basically create an entire baking program for Café Lola.
So what's the donut company called?
It's called Donut Babes, but it's St. Honore. Okay, but our LLC is Donut Babes.
Okay. So that's what. So then, St. Honore also has its own locations.
St. Honore has 2 locations.
And supplies all the baked goods.
Yes,
For Café Lola. This is like an intricate, beautiful spider web.
So
Let's keep it all in the family.
Yeah. Let's just go to the next business that you started after that. Then, so you had a lot of dough.
Yes,
and then
we did.
Literally,
and it was
we're not talking cash dough. We're talking dough.
Yes, because we definitely. It was in the middle of COVID, so we definitely didn't have a lot of cash dough. That's for sure.
It's December, and it's the busiest time of year for pretty much everybody, but especially for product bosses.
Yes, it is. Between all the promotions, the making and shipping, the end of year business tasks, and all of the non-negotiables with your loved ones during the holiday season, it can feel like there's too much going on.
We understand that you're trying to squeeze those 48 hours of work into the 24 hours you're given each day. Our best advice? Figure out the non-negotiables and let the rest go for your life and your business.
That's why we recommend HubSpot, because it's a business tool that integrates all of your data into one place so you can see what's working best in your life and in your marketing, sales, and customer service and relationships.
It's amazing how much time and mental energy you can save by having all the right tools to make your life easier and more streamlined.
HubSpot is like having a huge dashboard full of all the information you need across your entire business, ready for you to dig into the moment when you need it. It's easy to customize for your business and can help you get your work done faster and more easily, giving you more time and money for the things that matter most. Learn how HubSpot can help your business grow better at HubSpot.com.
But we had this space, again, we always try to do a dual business. We had this space where we have these donuts, these beautiful donuts. We're only open from 10 to 3. We make all of the dough in-house. Why not find a way in order to use the space after hours, provide our team with additional hours, for our staff. And my husband was making pizzas. He makes all of our food. He was making pizzas at the time. He's Italian. He is just an amazing chef, just innately very, very good. Always worked front of house, but just great in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so we just make pizzas for everyone for lunch. And so we came up with this idea during COVID. Why don't we turn St. Honoré into a pizza shop at night? Because we've got all the dough, we've got the meats and cheeses at Café Lola that we can bring over. Steve can make his homemade sauce. And then we can, be open. We're paying rent anyway. Why wouldn't we just be open a little bit longer in the evening?
And sometimes we would close the donut shop at 3, and sometimes they wouldn't completely sell out by 3. So we're like, why, if we stay open and serve pizza, the people could still buy donuts later.
Correct.
Too. So it was,
we came up with Pizza Anonymous literally in the heart of COVID. It was July 2020. And at that time, who was opening a new concept or a restaurant? And so I think that, again, with us posting on social media and just saying, we have some good news coming for all of you, people just really flocked to it. The first night that we opened, we actually were in a meeting at Café Lola, and I had my laptop open, and I had set up our back end ordering system, and everyone's talking in the meeting. I'm just looking at my email. I just see ding, 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 ding.
We all
ding.
love those dings.
And it's all of these orders. And I was like, guys, I think maybe we need to table this.
So were they online orders then? They weren't coming in because this was a COVID pivot that we made here. So it was like order online and then they could come pick up.
Yes, and when we sell out, we sell out.
Okay.
So we were just like, okay, I think maybe we need to go over to the pizza shop or donut shop, and we need to start making these pizzas.
Going over there. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was, that first night, I won't forget
before
about
we even opened the door.
Yeah, and it was
no joke. The pizzas took like 2 hours. It was ridiculous.
We had a lot of friends come. My OB actually came to get a pizza. I had to deliver it to him 2.5 hours later to his house. I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, we're just here to support
Everybody
you guys.
was really forgiving at that point.
They were very forgiving.
Because they knew us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They knew, and we had shared already.
Yeah. And also the pandemic, I think we all I don't know, 2 years later, we're not giving each other as much grace. But back then, back then, everyone was like, everyone was like resourcing to keep small businesses open and to do different things and to have different experiences.
Especially here in Las Vegas. That's one thing I think why we've been so successful is we have such a strong community, and everybody really has everyone's back. This is a hospitality community.
Right.
And so we all support each other through and through. And I think when people saw us, really trying to keep these businesses afloat and trying to make it and coming up with these ideas, they were going to support, and they've always supported us. And I think that's another reason why we've been so successful, really is because of our community.
You started sort of feeding your community before you decided to open your location on the Strip, right? So that's the thing, right? It wasn't that you jumped and you're like, let's go to the Strip and open a location and like try this really big idea, right? It was sort of
they came to us.
They came to you.
They did.
Yeah.
So that is the next big location that's opening.
Yes.
I know it's causing Lynn a little stress.
Oh my gosh. literally.
Yeah.
But it will be worth it. It will be worth it.
In the closed office, and they were like, don't talk to us.
Literally. It's like waking up in the middle of the night with these anxiety attacks, like, oh my gosh, it's like the countdown is on. And you gotta think of it from a business perspective too. Like, rent's gonna start, and all of these, additional bills are gonna start coming in. And plus it's draining from the bank account because it's construction, it's, ordering, it's all of these things.
But with no income.
Correct.
Right.
And so, it's definitely, I think, so far one of our bigger challenges, but I think it will have the biggest payoff as well.
Right.
So it's just, eye on the prize.
So Café Lola at the Forum shops.
Yes.
in Caesar's Palace.
Yes.
So there's a whole different red tape that happens with being on the Strip. Construction hours have to be certain hours. So all of that is like so many more hoops. But I wanted you to talk a little bit about reinvestment, like the type of strong, because even in the pandemic, right, you had to pivot. There were companies that did go out of business, plenty, right? But the ones that really thrived were the ones that went forward and pivoted how they needed to. So when you're even on the cusp right now of opening up in something you've never done before, there's a lot of mental things that happen with you opening up on the Strip, literally the place to be in Vegas. So talk a little bit about that and how, that mental strength has had to come into play.
Yeah, it definitely has. Like you said, there's so many challenges that we've never dealt with the building department, with being on the Strip, with, working in an environment where you have to work after hours. It's union labor. It's things that we haven't done before. We've been lucky enough with a lot of our spaces. We found second generation spaces, which we love because you come in, everything is basically here, and you're able to turn that around in maybe 60 to 90 days. That is every restaurateur's dream, to have the equipment here, the flooring done, not really to do any construction.
We just had to flip
just,
it.
Literally, paint, putting flowers. Those are the dream spaces. So doing full blown construction from the ground up, it's hard, and dealing with those, additional hurdles. But like with anything, we get it done. We know that there is a finish line. We know we just have to stay the course. We do our research. It's also a learning experience. Yes, this has caused me a lot of heartburn and anxiety, but at the end of the day, I'm like, wait a minute. I know so much more now about construction and about working on the Strip and dealing with the building department and dealing with all of these agencies than I did before. So the next time we do this, we're going to be that much further ahead.
Right.
So you just have to, keep your eye on the prize, stay positive, and know that everything to date has been a learning experience. Every single thing that we've done. And we wouldn't be where we are now if we hadn't learned something previously. So that really kind of helps keep it going. But I'm not going to lie, there are those really tough days
Keeps
too.
our hairstylist in like covering the grays.
I literally just went this week and covered the grays. I actually started sprouting them during COVID. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Because it was such a stressful period for us. But we just keep it moving. You have to keep it moving. We don't let anything stop us. We'll figure it out. At the end of the day, we will figure it out.
I love that. I mean, I want our listeners to really kind of understand that, because we can all stop ourselves. And if you stop yourself, the opportunities you're going to miss, the 100%. Life you're going to build is really going to get stopped up.
But I want them to really, the takeaway is like, it's hard no matter what. When you're talking about your story, it sounds like a fairy tale, to be honest.
It does. And people see it and they think
it's hard. Multiple
like
businesses.
Whipped cream, delicious
but
drinks.
for everybody, it's hard.
Yeah.
And there's harder seasons than some seasons are harder than others. So, I mean, even throughout this, construction is hard, and entrepreneurship is hard, and having a partnership is hard, So a lot of times, like, it can be, the thing is that the thing that keeps you going usually is like your partner, or the community, or, your goals, or whatever that is. But I think that having them hear that it's hard for even both of you, because when you look on Instagram, man, it looks so easy and, amazing.
Yeah. Target shopping never looked more fun. But and that's the thing we talk about. There's no balance. There's no juggle. We're all moms here. So we really believe in the blend, right? You have to blend business, personal life. Both of your husbands are now involved in your businesses. You've got kids. Both of you have young children. So it's the idea of blending it all, and it looks imperfect and messy, right? Like there's we have to wrap this so that we can go pick up kids after school, right?
Go to horseback riding lessons and do all the things.
There's things to do, but we're still able to do it. Do either of you have help? Like, have you?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's something we want to talk about, because while it looks easy, or like that there's help. So who helps you at home, and what do you have?
So my mom, Lola.
Oh.
Thank goodness for my mother. She lives with us. So she's the granny nanny. So Margot, my daughter, is obsessed with her grandmother. Growing up, my grandmother lived with us too, and my grandmother and I were we were best friends.
Yeah.
She actually lived with me till the day she died. We were like this. So I want my daughter to have that with my mom, and being my mother's only child, they have that relationship. So my mom lives with us, and she is, those two are the best of friends. So she is our biggest help. Steve and I do not know what we would do without Lola. she's my best friend, and now she's Margot's too. So
that's so amazing.
I love that.
And do you have help at all, Alex?
I wish I had my parents here because that's amazing. And my mom lives with us whenever she comes to visit, but I have an au pair. So she's from Colombia and she's amazing. Her name's Lena. I post about her actually a lot because she's part of our family now. So she doesn't drive though. So she helps me with most of the younger one at the moment. So I have to like juggle with Sophie. So Sophie's my toddler. Yeah. So I like constantly picking her up, taking her to school, taking her to all her lessons. So then she'll help me if I like have an event or something, I'll drop her off. But most of the time I bring Sophie with me to work and she'll come with me to the donut shop. She'll come with me here.
She's your taste tester.
She is, and she loves it. Like she's like Mom, like let's go make a PJ Masks latte. Like she'll literally come up with these ideas. Her so much. She's so funny, or she'll like go to the pizza shop and she has a great idea for pizza. Or she's just like really. She's growing up in the restaurants, right. And she's gonna. I mean, it's super fun. I love bringing her along because I think it's super important for her to see me working too, and I think it's nice that she knows what I do.
I mean, you both have daughters, one daughter, two daughters, and your daughter's already, a lawyer and PhD. I mean, you're already doing amazing things as women, right? And then now you are entrepreneurs growing these businesses. So I think it's just so impactful for our children to see it, but also see it takes hard work,
right?
Also we need to resource other people, whether it's family, whether it's hiring help, because a lot of our students in our community really get stuck on hiring, right? They feel like they have to do it all, especially our makers. A lot of, we work with a lot of bakers. I'm thinking of a few of them now where they're crying in their caramel, because they're
not into their caramel.
No, they can't, but they're in the kitchen 24 hours and they're not resourcing help because it's that thing of making that jump. So have you ever had that kind of push? Have you ever thought, I can't get help at home because I'm not doing enough? Or even when, obviously your restaurants, you needed to hire, but let's say back at the marketing agency, when was your first?
No, I always think back, I think it was Steve Jobs who said it, but it said you don't have to know everything. You just have to hire people who know everything, So for us, that's what we do. We hire the best bakers. We hire the best, baristas. We hire the best general managers, because we want to surround ourselves with people who know more than us. I want, our bakers at St. Honore, they teach me new things all the time. They're like, Alex, we should do this donut like this with this ganache and this, they come up with new flavors. And that's the only way you're going to get better, right? You can't know it all. You can't do it all. So for me, when I go in there with Sophie and my bakers, or our decorators are helping us come up with new ideas, for me, that's the coolest thing ever, because I can, you can balance a little bit better if you have help on both sides.
Right.
For me, it's hard. I have a hard time delegating. I just rather do it myself. But I think when we started to open more businesses and we had more companies and we just had all these additional responsibilities, didn't have a choice.
You didn't have a choice.
Had to start delegating.
Right.
And that was one of the best things for me that I've ever done. But it's hard, especially when you like things the way that you like them and you know how you want things done, and you just have to put trust in others. And like she says, we just surround ourselves with people who know more than we do. And that's just how, that's how you learn. And that's how you grow.
And it's okay if they mess up, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People mess up.
You never know what comes out of that mess up. Oh my gosh, look what we created. That's so cool.
Right. I feel similar to you, Lynn, in that it is hard to hire. But I think that for me, with our labels business, my husband primarily runs that himself. But, it is a little bit easier if you do have that family around. It's easier to kind of dip your toe into family helping you, and then if you don't, which Jacqueline, when, she lived in New Jersey, she didn't have help. So she would kind of resource the community, so you make it work with what you have. And I think that is really great because, we cannot do it ourselves. That's the thing, is that even owning a business, having to tend to the house, let's say, tending to the house, and then, having, all the things we want to do with our kids, there's nobody that could do all of that, or do it all well. So I also love that your husband, Steve, he was actually the cook, So it's I have two daughters, and I know their dad is definitely not the cook, but they see him do all these different things, he's cleaning the house and all these different things, and it kind of flips their mind, of, oh, look at that. Maybe it looks a little bit different for this generation.
Yeah, totally. So, it's all about teamwork.
It's shared roles, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So I actually want to go backwards to the conversation about Instagram and growing that sort of audience, because one of the big things that we obviously found you all through becoming cyber stalkers on Instagram, as you do.
It's true.
But for us, the thing that a lot of people, we do tell them, they don't want to be the face of their brand, for example. So Alex, you have your own Instagram, which you are the face of your brand, but the restaurant stand they have other people's faces. They have customers enjoying the beverages and the donuts, or even just the food in itself stands for itself. So my question to you is when you were starting this, did you have a big following, or how did you because you took everyone on the journey and then people were waiting.
Yeah.
And we always tell people that we don't want them to launch to a cold audience, right? Or to the crickets, right? To nobody. So what would you kind of give us suggestions to people who are really struggling on social today in 2022, when we call him Mark Zuckerberg has really made it hard for people.
Okay.
He's really made it hard to be organically found. But sort of what would you say to people? Because we like that behind the scenes. We like to personify the brand and take people on that journey. So what would be your advice let's get your marketing heads on this one.
Yeah, sorry.
I would say just, well, for us, it was a little bit different. So we did have this marketing company, and we were these two girls that had these, traditional careers that took a non-traditional route. And so we would share that all the time on Instagram, on Facebook. It was always Lin and Alex, they're doing another event. They're doing this, they're doing that. And we started to grow a following just from that. Like, hey, these two girls were working at the university. One has a law degree, one has a PhD, and they're opening a marketing company. Like, really? And they're doing well and it's thriving. And so I think people they wanted to see that. They wanted to follow that, like all the fun things that we were doing, because, everyone wants to get out of that 9 to 5 and, follow their dreams and follow their passions. And so we would just post about it. We've been doing it for 7 years, and we just started to grow a following, and people wanted to see, what are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? And when we posted that, hey, we're going to be opening a cafe, it was just like, whoa. Now they're restaurateurs. So they went from marketing to restaurateurs. And so people just wanted to follow that. And I think that's how we started our base. And then it's just kind of grown from there.
Right.
So I think it's just sharing your story and, not being afraid, and not, like Alex always says, don't plan it out. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, I have a couple things I think that really work. Is like the first thing is to do unexpected things, so like she said, like people like us being these traditional roles, going to do something unexpected is interesting, so to share those things is I think interesting. So people want to hear more about it. Sometimes Lin will go on and she looks like this, and then she'll dance like crazy, and people love it. And people love that because it's interesting. It's like unexpected and interesting. So they want to watch, like, wow, like, it kind of catches their attention. For those, I think unexpected things, I think always should be shared. The other thing that I do on my personal, a lot of times, is I just try to create entertaining content, so not necessarily related to the cafe, but I, will do something relevant, so something that maybe is a movie coming out, or something that's just to show what I can do, I guess, to show like the creativity part, and also it's entertaining. Becomes almost like a TV show. I feel like people they're waiting for the next thing I'm going to do. And I think that people love that element as well, just to kind of get to know me on another personal level. And then I think like Lin said, I think just sharing everything that we do. Like for me, I've just started to share all my family. I've started to share how I do it as a working mom. I started to share what my day in the life looked like. I actually didn't think people would care about what my day in the life looked like. I'm like, this is what I do. I wake up, I eat this, I go pick up my daughter, and I'm gluten-free. I start sharing about that. And then I think the first day I did a day in the life, I hit like 1 million views, and I was like, what? Like people care what I do during the day?
Yeah.
Like it's so weird to me. And then, so then I just started posting more about what I saw that people wanted to see. I think it's just about testing your audience. Like just start posting anything, because you never know what's going to go viral, and you never know if there's something hidden in your drafts that you're like too embarrassed to post, that maybe that's what people want to see. They want to see that side of you, Yeah. And then I think that for me, it was hard for me to kind of get past that, because I'm actually an introvert. I actually, like we were talking about it earlier.
I'm
an
extrovert.
Oh yeah.
So we knew it. We sat across each other. And I think I'm more like Lin, and we're like,
I'm
And then
definitely an
what was it?
introvert.
Yeah, like if you catch me, some people are like, I think I share my personality pretty well on social, but I think people do. I think it does tend to lean towards an extrovert for some reason, but I don't know why. I think it's just because I'm
you're willing to kind of show and share.
Yeah.
But not in person. Don't talk to her in person. Don't talk to Nina in person.
Just I do something like it. Like you can say hello. I mean, I love when people say hello.
Yeah.
It's like the nicest thing ever. And people literally will fly here from all over the country to come say hello, you know? And I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever, you know? Like people say like, I don't care about your donuts. I'm coming here to meet you, you know? And I'm like, that is for me, like the coolest compliment ever, you know? And then they're like, oh my God, Sophie's here. And they like freak out and they like know my daughter's name, you know? And it's super cute. People ask me to sign napkins for them. And like, so, and it's all just because you share things, you know? And so you either have to commit to it, you know, or not. Like, I think when you kind of half commit, that's when I don't think you will go viral as much, because you know, people, the audience also likes consistency, right? Like they want to watch their TV shows. Like they want, if they see you, they want to see more of you. You know, they don't want to just get a little snippet. So for me, I'm like, I consistently post every single day. I try to commit to it because I know that they want to see it. When my mom was having heart surgery, you know, and I like went to Arizona, I was like, okay, I'm just going to start posting what I'm doing here, you know, because they still want to see me, you know, and they like want to know what I'm doing there. And I shared that she was getting heart surgery and people were like, it blew up, you know, so other people have experienced that.
Right.
So I think it just creates this, like, it just creates this connection that people just know we're human, you know, like we're here, we're the owners, we like, you know, and I think that's the most important thing.
And they root for you.
Yeah.
As real people.
Yeah, they really do. My audience is incredible. Like they're all so like when I get like to meet a celebrity, they're like, we're so happy for you. And they like freak out and they're like, I've never been so proud of someone I don't know. And I'm like, that's so cool to me.
So I do want to point that out because I'm the extrovert, she's the introvert, even though I think like she's really come over to my side on certain days.
It depends. It's
really
work.
It's
work related.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of output,
extrovert,
you know,
for work.
Yeah. But what I want everyone to hear is because a lot of times people will default onto I'm an introvert, so I can't put myself on camera, or I don't want to show my face, or this isn't going to work for me because I'm an introvert. But you're a perfect example of a huge following and entertainment and building these beautiful businesses. And same with you. But I mean, like people would expect us to be the ones on camera. But you know, and then that you're able to do that. So I just want everyone that's listening, and if you start to follow along, that know that Alex is the introvert in the partnership, right? Yeah. And so it starts to let you overcome those sort of like we build all these reasons why you can't do something.
Introversion is just simply a skill set. I mean, it is definitely
and where you get your energy, right?
Yeah, it's where you get your energy. And I think that for all of us, I always push our audience to show their face, because if they want to stand out, it's going to be them.
Completely.
So it's not this candle maker or that candle maker. It's, you know, or this soap maker or that soap maker. It really is like, if you want to go really fast and be able to pivot, they need to buy into you as a person.
Yeah. Another thing you just reminded me that I wanted to give you for a tip is don't try to sell.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, and even our marketing girls, like when they like submit all the videos they post to me, and I'm like, no, this is too salesy. Like, I don't want to sell you something, you know?
Yeah, right.
For my videos, I'm like, I did one yesterday where like I actually had my assistant and then my partner, Steve, we went into our cafe and just did a video on what the people in front of us ordered, you know? And we ordered 3 random drinks, and it ended up being alcoholic drinks. We ended up drinking Bellinis and he had the frosé, and he was like pouring the frosé. It was so funny, but I'm like, you're marketing your restaurant, like, but no one knows you're marketing it because it's just such a funny video. That, like, you're actually seeing 3 of the drinks, like, our most popular drinks, but you know, we're doing it in a way where it's not selling it to you.
Right,
you know,
it's entertainment,
especially on social, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be sold to on social, because they're there to consume and,
as you always say,
inspired.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
it's true though. Like that's why I'm like, don't sell anything. Like I just want to show you how cool our donuts are, and I'll you know, and I will do the tours of our restaurants because people want to see that. But again, I don't think it's selling it. It's just I'm kind of saying it more in the educational way.
Right. That's such a good point. That is just like because everyone's always like how to sell without being salesy, right? We like to be like we say like the guy with the coat with all the watches is like, you want to watch? You want to watch? So I love that point, and I think that's such a great place to sort of wrap this part of the conversation. So we are so excited. What we like to ask, we say that entrepreneurship is like dog years, right? So like every year is actually like 7 years of experience. So what would you both tell, you know, baby Lin and baby Alex, like a few years back, maybe when you were starting or when you were making the leap, like what advice would you give them?
I've been asked this before, and my response, which really sticks with me to this day, is if you want it, you'll get it. But you have to work for it. You have to sacrifice. You have to be educated about it. You have to research. You have to not give up. So if you want it, you'll get it. You can have anything that you want, but you have to be willing to work for it. And I think that that's something that I would tell my younger self. Just keep pushing. You will get there. You will run into roadblocks. There will be times when you're like, this isn't going to work. How do I continue? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. If you really want to do it, you just have to do it. And eventually you will get there.
I love it.
I would say for me, I kind of said it earlier, but nothing has to be perfect. That's definitely one of the things that I would stop me before, like that I would be like, oh, it's not perfect yet. I'm going to wait. Like same with the videos, like it's not perfect enough. I'm not going to even post the video. So like those things for me, it's like super important just to be authentic and just don't wait, just do it. Another thing is similar to Lin is for me, a lot of times we were told that it's not possible, right? And you guys are never been in the restaurant industry, so you guys will definitely fail. Like people would tell us the craziest things, and for me, I just like my number one thing is that it's possible. Like anything is possible, and I think that no matter if you have a dream, like Lin said, like you just have to work for it and don't talk about it to anybody. Like I think the best thing to do is just do it and figure out a plan. And to start working towards it and don't talk about it to anyone because those people don't really see your vision. They don't know your passion. They don't know how strong you are. They don't know if you have grit and they could talk you out of it, So the best thing to do is just to go forward and complete your dreams and just do it and find the people who will help you.
100%. Because if we listened to everyone who told us not to do it, we would not have done the marketing company.
You back at the university.
Oh, yeah.
Completely.
100%.
Yeah.
Like this.
Right. Right. They don't know what you're capable of,
Exactly.
So, or how you're able to pivot. Because I think that's the thing too. I love how that's like integrated in that advice that you gave is that it really is about those people that can take action, even if it's not perfect. And even if somebody else doesn't say, hey, A-okay, now you can move forward,
Right.
And I think that is really, sometimes people will hold themselves back because they don't want to displease other people.
Right.
And so I think that's such a great thing to.
Yeah. It's just incredible. So what we'd love to know from you is where can people follow you, buy from you, come visit you? Just share all the deets.
So you can find Lin in the office. Just kidding.
In the office.
Usually with my blue light glasses on, like.
So we have Café Lola, which is, we have actually 4 locations. And then, so we have one in Allegiant Stadium. And then we have the 5th one coming to Forum Shops. And then we also have St. Honoré, which we have 2 donut shops. And then pizza shops are within that. So those are all of our restaurants. And then my personal is just my name, Alexandra _Lourdes.
And mine is Lin_Smith_Jerome, but go to Instagram. That's probably the only place you'll find me is just doing quick stories here and there because it's just, at the end of the day,
you're featured on the business pages. So.
Yeah, you can.
Doing a fun dance.
Yeah, you can find me on the business pages.
If you scroll and scroll and scroll down on Café Lola, you'll find them in their beautiful, like cute matching French outfits where you did some really fun reels and stuff. So we'll drop it all into the show notes. Ladies, thank you for hosting us here.
Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun.
It was so nice talking to you guys.
Thank you. And nice meeting you guys, and we appreciate you reaching out to us.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This episode is brought to you by the Shop 1 in 5 Pledge. We believe that when you purchase from a small online or offline business, your dollar goes further. Hey friends, Mina and I created the Shop 1 in 5 Pledge, and we're inviting you to take the pledge with us. It's a commitment to make 1 in 5 of your purchases from a small business, online or offline. It's a way to make an impact together where and when it matters most. Because the truth is, your purchasing power matters now more than ever. We're inviting you to take the pledge if you head to shop1in5.com. The link is in the show notes. And when you get there, please make sure to share the pledge with your friends, your family, and your customers. Let's invite everyone to take the Shop 1 in 5 pledge so that we can all use our purchasing power to change lives. Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.